After going through this video, you will be able to apply join queries to fetch data from a table. Hi, welcome to the next topic of this module. I'm sure you are learning a lot of new and exciting things and are having fun. Let us see what we are going to learn in this topic. Imagine your next semester is going to start. Now, before the semester commences, you have an option to select a timetable on your own. You can see what subjects you are going to study by simply clicking on the Show Subjects button. Similarly, you can also see the details of the teachers and their available time slots by clicking the respective buttons. See how easily, with just a click, you are able to fetch all the information from the database, which is going to help you create your own timetable. But what is really happening behind the scenes is that your every action is linked to an SQL query. Means, if you want to see the list of subjects and to get the same, there is an SQL query being executed in the background that is fetching the results from the table where all the information is stored. So in this video, we will see how we can write SQL queries that help to fetch data from the database or tables. To understand this, we will continue using our college placement example. So let us see how we can fetch data from multiple tables using SQL queries. Let's say we want to get the job location of Navjot. To do that, we have to look at the data from both the tables. First, from the students table, we will get the company underscore ID of Navjot. Then, from the companies table, using the company underscore ID, we will fetch the company records that will include the job location. So for these two steps, we have two SQL queries. The first query, that is select company underscore ID from students where name equal to Navjot, will fetch the company ID of the company where Navjot is placed. And the second query, select location from companies where ID equal to 4, will fetch the job location of that corresponding company ID. Pause the video and have a look at these queries carefully. Did you notice something interesting? If we look carefully, both these queries are dependent on each other to fetch data. The second query is dependent on the first query, as the first query will fetch the value 4, which is then used in the second query. So, to simplify things, we have an alternate way to fetch data, and that is using join queries. The idea is to virtually combine all the tables into one big table and fetch the data from the combined table in one go. If you look at this table, you will see the name of the attributes as something.something. This is because in the join query, we refer to any attribute by its table name .attribute name. So, please make a note of it. Now to create this table, we will use this SQL query. So the syntax is select something from students inner join companies. This part of the query will join the students table with the companies table. Next, we have on students.company underscore ID equal to companies.id. Here, students.company ID denotes the company ID attribute of the students table. Similarly, company.id denotes the ID attribute of the companies table. So, the join takes place on the company underscore ID attribute of the students table and the ID attribute of the companies table. This means it will match rows from both the tables where company underscore ID of the students table is equal to the ID of the companies table. And the rows ID which do not match with any row on the other table will be added as it is. Once the tables are combined, filters are applied using the where clause. This part of the query will only fetch the row whose students.name is equal to Navjot. We can pick only those columns based on what data we need. Select companies.location will fetch the company's location of the filtered rows. This is how we can use inner join SQL queries to fetch data from multiple tables. Now before we end this video, there is an exercise for you. Remember at the start of this topic, we told you to create tables for the cab rental service company. Now, create a combined table and try to fetch a particular record using inner join SQL query. In the next video, we will learn more about join queries.